welcome to all of you. It's been a long time since we discussed something on nakshatras. So today I bring to you the symbol of Ashlesha Nakshatra. What are the symbols? A symbol is a pictorial description of something that it represents. The qualities of something that we are going to talk about is defined or is picturized, and as we know, a good picture is worth thousand of words. So just by looking at the picture we can understand certain things that it is trying to convey about a particular organization, particular related to a particular abstract entity, and we can understand what this the whole thing would be able to convey. When we're talking about Ashlesha Nakshatra, the symbol is a coiled snake. This coiled snake has lesser degree of fear as compared to the open the snake, which is hooded and which is waiting to very alert, or so it seems. And it seems that this coiled snake is at rest, inactive, and basically to a certain small level harmless also. Just to set the equation straight, the coiled snake in whichever form it may appear to be sleeping, it may appear to be coiled, it may appear to be highly inactive, but it is always very alert. The state of inertia that it may seem to be in may not be its true state. It is always on alert and has, with its abilities to hear the footsteps through its skin, it is able to see the change in vibration on the earth's surface near it, and can easily spot its victim or any other animal or being around its vicinity, and can choose to act or react depending upon the conditions of that time. So the inactive state of the snake is also the inactive or the dormant state is also not a state where it is not aware. It is definitely aware. This snake can also be compared to the kundalini. When we're talking about the snake and the kundalini, this is the shakti that is very much dormant in our spines, and when it starts rising up, it starts rising up to a level that it can change our entire life. It can bring about a change in stature, change in our physical forms, and primarily a great deal of change in our spiritual lives. But that is when it starts moving. As the snake starts moving, it can glide over the most difficult of surfaces. The snake cannot walk, we all know that. It crawls over surfaces, and not just surfaces which are horizontal. The snake has the ability to climb trees, that is to crawl over trees. The snake also has the ability to move over absolutely tall walls. We've many times heard snakes coming out of pipes, and snakes come transversing a vertical direction to move to a first, second, third level of the houses and such places. So snakes have the ability to cross many, glide smoothly, effortlessly, and gracefully over surfaces, horizontal or vertical. This snake, which appears to be inactive, which appears to be dormant and resting, is actually very focused and alert, and it is very much in tune with its surroundings. So when we're talking about this gliding ability, this ability to climb up, when the snake starts uncoiling itself, this brings to a very beautiful and unusual example of Alan Robert. Alan Robert is also called the modern day Spider-Man because of his daredevil achievements of climbing more than 70 buildings and bridges, including the Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia, at the age of 41 without ropes or safety equipment. Yes, that's the thing. His USP is he has climbed over Petronas Towers of Malaysia, Eiffel Tower. He is basically a Frenchman, and he's done all those places with a long time ago. And in fact, one place which deserves a special mention is the Sears Towers in Chicago. What is so very different about Sears Towers is that it's building at the front surface of the building is absolutely glass fronted, and it is straight faced, so it doesn't have many nooks and cranny for a person to kind of hold on or but to take a lot of support from. And Alan has been climbing since he was 12 years of age, and generally find a lot of people being able to do it with the help of support, with the help of ropes, safety equipments. His USP is no safety equipments, no ropes, just his hands and legs. That is his third house being very, very active, and so is his 11th house, hands and legs. And also one eagle charm, he says, that he got from an American Indian chief that he always carries with him. When he was 12, how does it all start? When he was 12 years of age, he lost his key, and then he scaled the side of his apartment building up to the 8th floor in France. Incidentally, and very, very interestingly, the 12th year of age is also your 12th house. Remember this as a special note because I will come back to it again. Now, in 1982, he had a bad fall, and it was a near fatal experience for him because he was 5 days he was in a hospitalized and he was hospitalized, where the doctors said that he would be 66% handicapped. He'd broken so many of his bones, and this, along with this, they added that he would never ever be able to climb again. But 6 months from there, and he was back to his climbing business. When we see his achievements on Wikipedia, it is absolutely endless, or so it seems, absolutely endless. And he climbed the highest skyscraper of France in on 10th May 2012. So let's go back to his chart. When we talk about his chart, we see that Alan has his third lord as Mercury. Mercury is also, let us repeat, the third lord of the natural zodiac. Mercury also represents your limbs in the natal chart, as well as the third house of the Kalpush Kundali or the Kalpusha chart. And for him, Mercury becomes super strong. Why does Mercury become super strong for him? Because Mercury, but before that, the third house, at a first glance, we can say that the third house has debilitated planet, which is also the lord of the 11th house. So how does it work for him? And that's a Venus. But remember that Venus is Shukracharya, and it is also the power of rejuvenation. And third house happens to be the house of life. Third house happens to be the house of courage. Third house happens to be the house of initiation, and it is regeneration also. The third house is also regenerative. So Mercury, which is again the lord of the third house, is placed in its own nakshatra in 29 degrees 52 minutes in Cancer, which happens to be the Ashlesha Nakshatra. So Ashlesha Nakshatra becomes a very, very dominating nakshatra for him. It is placed in the Ashlesha Nakshatra with Sun. Sun is the lord of the second house of family, is the lord of the second house of income also. Mercury becomes Digbali. Mercury in the Lagna is said to be Digbali. So this Mercury for him becomes very strong. As a result, his third house becomes extremely strong for him. And his third house is also initiation. Third house is also courage. Third house is also swiftness. And Mercury, we know, is a very swift planet. It is a very nimble planet. It is the young prince always raring to go. And this Mercury gives him the ability to glide through. Second house is is the money, education, desires, needs. So here he wants to do that. That's an activity that he's willing to do and go great. I told you that he started it when he was 12 years of age. When we look into his chart by counting the houses, we see that in the 12th year, the house that was operated was his 12th house, and it is owned by Mercury. So Mercury becomes very active for him right from the age of 12, from the age of 3 and 12. 3 because we don't have much data, so we cannot talk about that, but the 12th house is very apparent in that year. We also see that Mercury here is for him a very, as we said, that in the third house, Mercury has an alliance, a friend, Venus sitting there. And Venus is the lord of the 11th house of limbs. People can say that it is debilitated, but let us remember that Venus is Shukracharya. And in the third house, it gets the rejuvenation, regenerative property, which is so much in tune with this Venus. So this Venus gives him an ability to regenerate right after a near fatal experience. Also, let us not forget that the snakes have a habit of shedding their skin. In the process of shedding their skin, they have to move out of that old skin so that they let go of that old skin. But that process is also a very painful process, because the skin is, as we say, the skin is part of the body. To shed it, to come out of it, come out of a shrinking skin is not an easy task, and the snake has to undergo a lot of pain. And if the snake does not come out of it, the snake will suffocate and die, because that skin is now not fit for the body. If you try to fit in a child, a 5-year-old child, in a dress which is he had worn when he was 3 years old, he definitely will not fit into that. And if you somehow manage to get him into that, he will suffocate after a certain time. So that is exactly what a snake has to undergo when he is coming out of that old skin. Similarly, when he was coming out from having that bad fall, he had to undergo a great deal of pain. He had to undergo a great deal of transformation. He also had to go to the hospital, and all said and done, it was just his determination that he had to do it, that he was managed to come out. Here, let us not forget the contribution of moon also. Moon is the lord of the lagna, defining the self, and the moon is also Digbali in his chart in the 4th house, uh, in the nakshatra of Mars, denoting great amount of courage and a will to get out and get going. So we can see that the nakshatras, the symbols of the nakshatras, have the ability to convey so much. And when they can also tell us what we can do, what kind of situation we can get through, and how we are able to come out of a situation. So many things in just by looking at a picture, we have the ability to assess a lot of things. The symbols make a very great impact on each nakshatra. Now, if you've liked this video, please subscribe to the channel. If you have already subscribed, please share this video so that we can come across many more people. Till we meet again, do leave in your comments, and thank you once again for watching the video and being here. Thank you.